Okay. So I'll just start by saying, due to our phone call before recording, there's certain things that we have a gag order on, and certain things you're not comfortable talking about, and I think that's okay. So we're gonna tonight. I have a couple questions, but then you're gonna just speak about whatever is really on your mind and what you want to speak about. Okay, we'll start with the questions, just in case Sonia calls in. The neighbor, you said when you got home that night, and only answer this if you can. You said you saw your three boys down and your neighbor as well, and you knew she was gone because she wasn't down there, she wasn't up at the house. And people are wondering, how well do you know that neighbor? You don't have to name the neighbor, but how well that neighbor that you saw that night, how well do you know him? And do you know why he was out there around your boys?
Yeah, a lot of our neighbors heard, us screaming Summer's name, and so I don't know, I don't know for sure because I wasn't there, but I've known him for years, and he's always been really good to us, real friendly and everything. But since all this stuff's happened, I don't know, things have changed a lot for us since this has happened. Um, but I'm trying to understand your question exactly. So yeah,
How well did you know that name?
Yeah, I've known him on and off for years. We've met each other a few times, quite a few times. But I mean, we're not like friends or anything either, but we're good neighbors. One of the best neighbors I got. I mean, he'd do anything. He went and helped search for Summer. He'd do anything for us. He's a good guy.
Well, I think that clears that one up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and really quick, I just wanted to go over because we chatted on the phone before recording here, but you said you're just being bombarded. You and your wife are being bombarded by people who really just don't want you talking to me and really just like bad mouthing me and stuff, as if you guys don't have enough on your plate. They have to bring all that to you as well. And you also wanted to touch on some things you've seen where there's some people even pretending to be you and Candace, and it's crazy, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there playing both sides of the field, and they're attacking my stepsister and Trish and all of them. They're pretending to be us and attacking them, and then they pretend to be them and attack us. And we're just now starting to figure this out because we really haven't been talking. And I just reached out to my sister Mary, and of course she told me that the genie just really wanted all this to stop, and then we made the apology video. I apologized to her. It's not, people make it way more than it has been, and how the rumor got started with Trish, I'm not sure. The original allegations were horrific. Then won't be my nieces that are like, I mean, way younger than me, like, but they, and I don't want to really mention their names, but I already did, but they deny that they even said some of these things, or that they flat out deny that and they don't want no part of it because people have, pretended to do this and that and be people that they're not, and they've really started a pretty horrific thing. And but most all of them allegations that have to do with my first set of kids and all that are completely false. Everything that they've said about Trish and Mary's daughter is completely false. And and Mary's daughter, even, she denied that she said anything like that, and they're hurt. They so I don't know, but it's pretty bad, and it started a really bad situation. And they're still attacking. They still contact me and act like they're my friend and my wife and act like they're her friend. And then they go to McDonough's show or whatever and post up and post their lives and everything or whatever, spread all their lives and attack any way that they can for whatever reason that we don't know why people would be like this, but they are. And it's pretty sad.
Yeah, I mean, it's what
disgusting.
goes on. Yeah, it goes on social media, Don. And like I showed you earlier, what they're doing and how they're trying to attack me, and they just don't want us talking, even though most of the people that are probably telling you that are people that are going around and talking crap about you also. So it's just like this weird thing. We've got people that called Child Protective Services. Our friend Ben has had 33 Child Protective Services reported against him and his wife and his trying to get his kids taken away, because that's how people on YouTube work. They go for your real life and they'll call the cops on you. They'll call your employer.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah. I'm not showing this part for any particular reason. I want to get this on ya. I heard something I would like to go over at the beginning of this, though. But I wanted to come here first and address Ziggy. I just played that for you guys because I had to go get coffee and I didn't want you staring at a blank, quiet screen. So, Ziggy, I'm positive it was a mistake. I hold nothing against her. But I guess some shit went down today between Mama Bear and the other Chris and Andrew, and I'm still really not all caught up on it. I don't even know what it's all about because I've had a pretty busy day. My name on Facebook is Chris Sims. My name in real life is Crystal. Even on Facebook, my friends call me Chris. So I go by Chris, and that's what I have as my Facebook name. Anyways, Ziggy had it all kinds of mixed up. And she just went on and on and on naming my name. And I just want to make it clear, I am not the person who is involved in whatever the hell was going on between these creators. So I'll play this in a minute. Hattie, I wanted to ask you, what are you sorry for? You didn't do nothing. Hi, Marion. Hi, Jovi. Hi, Laura. Okay, let me go play this. I'm going to mute for a minute because I wasn't exactly ready yet.
That there was going to be a continuance. You forgot you were listening to that? Looks like it's going to be good at Justin's. Oh, yeah, probably. Well, she had on, okay, so I guess that channel, I Am That Bitch Mama Bear, she has a daughter who was 16 when the Summer Wells case started, and I guess her daughter would edit her videos and stuff for her, and somehow got involved in the Summer Wells case and talking to creators and stuff as well. But the thing is, like, what happened is, you guys know that person, that Chris Sim lady? Hey, RJ. So that Chris Sims lady, I guess, is friends with, is now close with Allie, Hunter's mom. And I guess Chris Sims and Allie come up with this great idea that, oh, let's hook this girl up with Hunter so she can get information out of him. His own mother. So that shows me his own mother is suspicious about him. But anyways, Chris Sims proceeds to allegedly contact this 16-year-old, convince her to pretend to like Hunter, get her trust and everything, confide in her troubles at home, I guess, and then proceeds to tell her, oh, well, you can live with me. And I guess there was this whole plan for behind Mama Bear's back to move out to Chris Sims, that YouTuber. Well, I guess like Allie, people start like that girl wouldn't, and Allie wouldn't stop harassing her. I don't know what, you guys have to listen to it. It was crazy. You only need to listen to really the a lot of it is her emotions about, she was crying big time and really upset. Like, I don't know, why would she, I don't know how I feel about that whole thing. I mean, obviously I feel upset that Chris Sims would do that, but she's always in drama. But I don't know what, the mom didn't see any signs or anything like. No, Chris. Yes.
So, anyways, that is what I heard. That is not me. I did not reach out to Allie. I am not close friends with Allie. I didn't hook nobody's kid up with Hunter. And I want to make that clear. Woo! Lordy Lord. I don't know what to tell people. I really don't. Ziggy, you got this one really, really confused. I would just like for you to write it and say that it wasn't me, because I'm not that Chris. That Chris's name, I believe, is spelled Kriss. Okay, moving on. Let me remove that. I wasn't gonna go live tonight because I had a pretty good live last night, but when I seen that, I was laughing. It was a joke. Like, I was like, what the hell? Because I actually was on there. I wanted to make another little story with a creator, and I wanted to use Ziggy as a psychic. You'll see it. It'll be coming up. So I went and just clicked on her video, and all I hear is my name. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, Marion. Yeah, Laura. Yeah, Hattie. Last night was a really good live. Even though Jody Sue went over and trashed me today. I didn't watch all of it. I watched like 5-10 minutes of it. Just what she does. I'm not going to do it back. Okay. So, oh, I didn't mean to put that back up. Hold on. Tonight, I'm definitely going to keep this under 2 hours because I was extremely tired today and I was supposed to go out to dinner with my son and I kind of blew him off. He knows. He was here. Okay. Let's add this one back.
So they do background searches on all of us.
I'm just going to let this play through. I don't remember what is all on here. I know Dawn's sister Sonia comes on here, and I thought that would be an interesting talk tonight, something to talk about. So I'm going to mute. I'm going to let this play. It is, how long is it? Oh, this don't tell you. I should have just went to her channel. If it gets too long, I'll just pause it after Sonia. I'll just stop it. And if you want to continue after that, we can. I'm probably going to start it over because there was something at the beginning of this, and I'll just pause when they get, well, no, I'm not even going to do that. No drama. Okay. Let's just play from where I'm at.
And they'll try and get you fired from your jobs and everything. So when you told me all this stuff that people were spreading around, all of this stuff, trying to get you guys to stop talking to me, it's not a surprise. It's not new. But that's one thing people bring up is that, well, you used to think that they were guilty of doing something, and do the Wells know that? But you do know that, and I mean, I've texted you privately some things also. So, I mean, you did know that I wasn't always on the page I'm on now, right?
Yeah, a little bit about that stuff, but I'm not sure. Yeah, you told me, you weren't. At first, you thought I was guilty of all this stuff because of, I don't know why, but yes, I understand. Sorry.
People who have credentials and had a career in this and letting that manipulate.
Yeah, getting that.
Manipulate our
Plus,
mind.
just going by like the statistics.
Yeah,
But yeah, we realized that once we got some information that,
we were wrong.
yeah, it's just not true. You have an alibi and everything, and Candace's story and Allie and H, that all lines up. So it doesn't look like anybody that we know of was involved. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I know evil forces, they use lies. They bring up the past because that's the first thing, evil forces will throw in your face is your past and say that you cannot change or you will always be this way. Bring up all your mistakes, say this, and tell you, you can't change. There's no, and stuff like that. I don't know. It's a crazy world. But anyways, yeah.
So, tonight, let's just go over, because you've been doing nothing but answering questions. So I told you let's throw questions out the window this evening and just really go over what you want to go over, what you want to chat about.
Well, I just, I've got a lot of problems. It's bad enough. Our daughter is gone. At this point, we don't know where she's at or what she's going through. But it's bad enough. Me and my wife are deeply hurt, and all this stuff going on with the psychics all over YouTube, Facebook, and coming out on our property and getting in fights at 2 a.m, having a little alcohol, and Mr. McDonough and all the problems that he's created, and pretty much going with all these false stories and allegations on Facebook and just running with it to make his name or whatever. He's really attacked me and made me look pretty bad, and all his people and followers that actually believe all this stuff, they're vicious. And like I say, they've created all these fake accounts. They even created a fake account of me and called TBI and said something to the fact that her body was out there on the lake, and they spent a good part of Saturday out there looking for her body. They couldn't get a hold of me because I was in church. So when I got out of church, they finally got a hold of me, and I'd had to explain that it wasn't me. That's the kind of things that these underhanded people are doing. They're attacking my family in Utah, then they attack us here and pit us against each other and attack everybody. I wish, there should be consequences for that. They really need to stop doing that because they're destroying our lives. They're making me, I get it. When I was younger, I'd done some foolish things, and I apologized to her for that. I've talked to Mary, and we've worked it out. And, it's just with all these rumors, it just turned everything more worse and made them think things that weren't true. And I think anybody would fall into this trap. And but these things with my nieces and my first kids, they're scared. They're afraid to even say anything for fear of these people are going to attack them and their credibility, and they're going to lose their jobs and lose their kids and all these things. There's people attacking me at my place of employment. How much longer can my employers hang on, before they they're going to, pretty soon I'm wondering if I'm even going to have a job. They've been really good to me. My employers have always been really good. And they're all like family to me, and for people to destroy that and discredit, make me out to this monster that I'm really not, it's just, it really hurts, and people, everywhere I go, they don't come out and say it, but you can see the looks on their faces and stuff, and people believe all these lies. It's not right.
No, it's definitely not right, Don. And to anybody watching, you need to stop with this attacking the family thing, even if you think they're guilty. This is not your damn place. Give your information to the police, let them handle it. Going after the family privately, that is wrong. Stop doing that.
Yeah.
It's just disgusting. And we have Sonia just popped in.
Sonia popped in, yeah. So we've got your sister here. Sonia, welcome. We are recording right now. This is not live. We are recording this though, just so you know. Thank you for calling in. And Dawn's here too. I'm sure can you see?
I can't see her.
Yeah, she's just got an icon. And Sonia, if you can hear us, you have your microphone muted. Oh, there you go.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay. Hey,
Hi,
Sonia. Thanks for calling in.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sonia, you and I have spoken, and I know it's been kind of weighing on you. You've been kind of wanting to keep quiet, but the more and more that you see your brother being under attack and Candace being under attack, I know you've told me it's been quite hard for you to continue to bite your tongue.
Yeah, I kept hoping it would just go away. If everybody would stop saying shit, the fire wouldn't continue to grow. But
yeah,
unfortunately, that's not the way it's going to work. Yeah.
What would you like to get off of your chest, Sonia? Because you've heard everything, and we've talked about it. Yeah. What would you like to? Where to start, right?
There's so many things being said out there, and I'm probably the only one that's been in contact with Donnie. Mm-hmm. For the last 20 years or 30 years, his stepsisters haven't even talked to him. They don't even know him, and they're saying all this crap about him, and all the it's like he was out here last summer for a few months. They may have seen him for 10 minutes, but other than that, it's been 20 to 30 years since they've even seen him.
And I know that we kind of discussed, but I mean, we were kind of wondering, like, why are they kind of coming about this now that Summer's missing? I know we've had lots of comments, like, even from survivors of things, like, why now? Or one person left a comment, why didn't they come out like when Summer was born or something then, if it was how they're saying. And this goes back to what Dawn is saying.
I know that too.
Yeah, you've got these podcast people who are meddling and making it worse. And like Dawn said, making it worse so that these channels can get views and put on shows. And that's no good.
Yeah, and they're just saying all kinds of stuff that's not true. Apparently there's something that happened between him and Jeannie when they were kids. But it's not like this is a pattern. He never abused his own kids, they told me.
Yeah.
And nobody else. It's just like, so, there are just all these rumors out there that they're just not true.
All right, guys, I'm going to stop there and address what she just said. So she said it's never been proven that Donnie's ever abused any of his other children. Look, if you come from a family with a clean house that doesn't have streetwalkers and 19 children, 17 of them being prior to the 2 children you had with the woman, where you're moving around state to state, not there, in jail while your kids are growing up. I hate to say it, but this woman is sadly, sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken. There is proof that Don was not a great parent with his older 2 children. That is my opinion. Okay, we'll continue on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I asked his son about? I asked his son about it, and he says, like, what? Where in the hell did that come from? I says, you haven't been watching all the stuff on there, and he hasn't, because he don't, you know, they've already attacked him. He don't want to be involved in it, and I don't blame him.
Yeah. Yep. I talked to him privately. He told me the same, that his dad, that Don barely spanked him as a kid, and that absolutely there was no inappropriate touching at all.
He's not a violent person. He never sexually did anything to him.
Yeah, I don't get that vibe from him at all.
Could I ask, are you Don's older sister, younger, close in age?
2 years younger.
And is it all right, and you don't have to answer this, but could I ask, did he ever be inappropriate with you?
Of course not. No, not in any way.
Obviously.
So yeah, I'm not seeing the pattern.
No.
Another thing I would like to point out is I don't think Dawn and Sonia as children lived together. I believe Sonia lived with the mother, because wasn't Dawn sent to the dad because the mother couldn't control him? So there's like a lot of times she wasn't around. I don't understand her take. Okay.
There is no pattern here. I think he made mistakes when he was younger. He was a kid. But it's not like there's a pattern of anything here. I know he would never touch his daughter. I know that.
Sonia, we got to mute you just for a second so we can let Dawn hear.
Yeah, we have audio problems, so we got to mute you one at a time.
We got to mute guys in between, yeah.
All right, okay. What do you have to say about all that?
Jovi, I think she is too. I would like to know, like, I'm not here to put Sonia down. I know what her husband is. I've seen it. I'm sure she knows. I don't know what the situation is with her in Utah. But Dawn got that job in Utah pretty fast. You know, I wonder, he said it was the same company he worked for when he was a kid. I don't know. Like, I've Googled her house. She has a beautiful home. The situation with her husband, I believe I read up on, I don't want to quote on it because I don't want to put something out that may not be true, but something maybe somebody should look into, or I can look into later on down the line. Maybe even after this if it piques more of an interest. But I know all that stuff. Like, I know she covers for her hubby. I think she's in denial. I'm not informed. However, I think she needs, like, she came out. She's been the only person in Dawn's family that has come out and stood up for him, right? And after 2 years, she's never spoken again after this. She's never come to bat for him again. And I'm just curious. I would like to know. I mean, I know she has no obligation to come out and tell us, but I would like to know what her feelings are today, years later. I also would like to know, how well did she know Summer? You know what I mean? Like, were they close? Did she visit a lot? Her mom lived up on the hill. I don't understand her covering for him so hard at this point and then never elaborating on it or covering for him again. Like, okay, so in my mind, since this case began, I want to believe, hold on, guys. No, that one's stupid. No. I don't know why. These seem so giant on my thing. We'll just do that for now. In my mind, I want to believe that Dawn and Candace are innocent because as a mother, as a grandmother, I don't ever want to think that a parent could do something to their child, cover it up, hide it, and then pull the shit they have pulled on YouTube. The games they've played, the way they get up here drunk, the way they give no shits, they have no self-respect. I mean, that's just my opinion. Does that make them guilty? No, it don't. We can't say who's guilty. Only the police can do that. We can look at it as a speculation, opinion only. And in my eyes, the fact that more family has come out against him than for him, that's troublesome. And I want to know why the sister never went to bat for him again. Maybe Dawn can answer that one day. I don't know. I'm just confused about her rule and why she even went on there. So, okay, let's listen a little more.
On and certain things you're not comfortable talking about, and I think that's okay. So we're gonna tonight I have a couple questions, but then you're gonna just speak about whatever is really on your mind and what you want to speak about. Okay, we'll start with the questions just in case Sonia calls in. The neighbor, you said when you got home that night, and only answer this if you can, you said you saw your three boys.
Where she's at or what she's going. At first, you thought and post stuff and post their lives and everything, this and that. And
I'm sorry, guys. I lost my place somehow and didn't even realize it.
People that they're not, and they've really started a pretty horrific thing.
Child Protective Services reported against him and his wife and his trying to get his kids taken away, because that's how people on YouTube work. They go for your real life and they'll call the cops on you. They'll call your employers. They do background searches on all of us, and they'll try and get you fired from your jobs and everything. So when you told me all this stuff that people were spreading around.
Yeah, a little bit about that stuff, but I'm not sure. Yeah, you told me, you weren't. So at first, you thought I was guilty of all this stuff because of, I don't know why, but yes, I understand. Sorry.
People who have credentials and had a career in this and letting that manipulate.
Yeah, getting that. Plus, just going by like the statistics.
Yeah.
But yeah, we realized that once we got some information that
we were wrong.
Yeah, it's just not.
I've got a lot of problems. It's bad enough. Our daughter is gone.
Oh my God, guys, was I this far ahead? I was running around here getting coffee, not paying attention.
For that, I've talked to Mary, and we've worked it out.
We are recording right now. This is not live.
Anybody watching, you need to stop.
I kept hoping it would just go away. Everybody.
I apologize for that. I swear I have like follies every night.
You would stop saying shit, the fire wouldn't continue to grow. But
yeah,
unfortunately, that's not the way it's going to work. Yeah.
What would you like to get off of your chest, Sonia? Because you've heard everything and we've talked about it. Yeah. What would you like to? where to start, right?
There's so many things being said out there, and I'm probably the only one that's been in contact with Donnie. You know, for the last 20 years or 30 years, his stepsisters haven't even talked to him. They don't even know him, and they're saying all this crap about him, and all the, you know, it's like he was out here last summer for a few months. They may have seen him for 10 minutes, but other than that, it's been, 20 to 30 years since they've even seen him.
And I know that we kind of discussed, but I mean, we were kind of wondering, like, why are they kind of coming about this now that Summer's missing? I know we've had lots of comments, like, even from survivors of things, like, why now? Or one person left a comment, why didn't they come out, like, when Summer was born or something then, if it was how they're saying. And this goes back to what Dawn is saying.
I know that too.
Yeah, you've got these podcast people who are meddling and making it worse, and like Dawn said, making it worse so that these channels can get views and put on shows, and that's no good.
Yeah, and they're just saying all kinds of stuff that's not true. Apparently there's something that happened between him and Jeannie when they were kids. But it's not like this is a pattern. He never abused his own kids, they told me.
Yeah.
And nobody else. It's just like, so, there are just all these rumors out there that they're just not true.
Yeah.
When I asked his son about it, and he says, like, what? Where in the hell did that come from? I says, you haven't been watching all the stuff on there, and he hasn't, because he don't, they've already attacked him. He don't want to be involved in it, and I don't blame him.
Yeah. I talked to him privately. He told me the same, that his dad, that Don barely spanked him as a kid, and that absolutely there was no inappropriate touching at all.
He's not a violent person. He never sexually did anything to him.
I don't get that vibe from him at all.
Could I ask, are you Don's older sister, younger, close in age?
2 years younger.
And is it all right, and you don't have to answer this, but could I ask, did he ever be inappropriate with you?
Of course not. No, not in any way.
Honestly.
So I'm not seeing the pattern at all.
There is no pattern here. I think he made mistakes when he was younger. He was a kid. But it's not like there's a pattern of anything here. I know he would never touch his daughter. I know that.
Sonia, we got to mute you just for a second so we can let Dawn hear.
Yeah, we have audio problems, so we got to mute you one at a time.
We got to mute guys in between,
All right, okay. What do you have to say about all that, Dawn?
Yeah, Sonia, I hope she can hear me. Can she hear me?
Yep, she can hear you. She just can't reply.
Yeah. We was just talking about how people were making fake accounts and attacking our step family, and then they turn around and attack us and everybody else and in between, and
So, Hattie, you asked me when this was. I'm remembering a little bit. So this would have been like when the whole stepsister thing, and I'm not really going to name them, and I'm not here to talk about them. I just want to see like my point of showing this as a family dynamic, I guess, type of situation. This sister was involved. Dawn said he went to a party at his sister's house, and that party started a fight between him and Candace. Now, he had been in Utah, my goodness, for 6 months at this point. So why now, all of a sudden, does this start a fight after 6 months of being gone, that you have to speed with your child in the car, get a ticket on your way back to get back to that house because of Jose? Like, it doesn't make sense. Jose was already there for a couple weeks. I'm sure he's not the first person that Candace had there. It seemed Candace was a friendly person. It seemed she invited the less fortunate, up to her house quite often. Look at the people that they hung with. You know, the type of people they hung with. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not trying to insult anybody, but Candace had these type of people up her house all the time. It wasn't nothing, in my opinion, that should have had Dawn coming back. But we did hear Allie say that Grandis called Dawn, right? And told Dawn that Jose and Candace were doing something. Now, is that the truth, or was it something else that Grandis told Dawn? Like, what was that all about? And I'm only looking at this because this is the lead up. This is, in my opinion, Candace looked healthy. She was much prettier. She looked like she was more involved with her children when she had the long hair. And then there's a change in her life. Her hair's short. She looks awful. Summer goes missing. I mean, we know the epidemic, the drug epidemic is not at this time. COVID's hitting in. A lot of family dynamics changed during that time, right? So all of that for me, just to tell you, I guess the reason for me listening to this is because I think the family dynamic of when Dawn was in Utah is important. I don't know. I just think it's something, like, we looked at all the bad stuff with the stepsisters, but did we go as far as, why is this man in Utah? I mean, not really that I don't know. Let's just listen.
I didn't know if you would realize that. But, so they're making it into a whole lot bigger monster than it really is. But yeah, I just hope we can work it out and get along and hopefully turn this into looking for summer somehow. But all this stuff, you know, with psychics and Chris McDonough has stopped the investigation. Ronnie Larson.
Actually, I changed my mind about that. I would say there was a change in their life even prior to that. The Crystal Spencer stuff happened way prior. I think 2018. So I guess it was around 2018 they started to the fighting, the cheating, the all of that. So let me, after further thinking, reminded myself. Okay.
And I think's his name. He's pretty upset about the whole thing. I'm sure the judge and everybody over the case is pretty upset about the whole thing. I just hope people will come out and help us to stop all this. And you know, it's just trying to, you know, keep it all going and attacking my wife. They're trying to turn my wife against me and against this show here, and they've done nothing but try to help us. You know, and I wish they would just stop or help, or the people that aren't involved in doing these sorts of things, please help us, you know, to just please help us. You would, please.
Yeah, that's the thing, is we need to really move past this and get back to the fact that there is a missing girl. No one seems to really care about that. It's just so weird. I don't get it at all.
Yeah.
Can I add something?
Oh, absolutely,
Something to that? I just wanted to say that it is ridiculous what all the family feuding and how it has turned this whole investigation away from Summer. And it's such crap that, you know, it's a shame because I really do feel like she's been abducted. Nobody's even looking at those possibilities. And I feel like whoever did this is like, you know, I've heard that there's 15 more kids since Summer went missing. It's like a free for all. Nobody's looking for them. They're all looking at Donnie and Candace.
Yeah, there's something really bad going on down there.
And as far as the family cheating, that'll probably not be resolved. That's been going on from day one. That's, you know, there's always been a big split there. I just wish at those possibilities, and I feel like whoever did this is like, you know, I've heard that there's 15 more kids since summer went missing. It's like a free for all. Nobody's looking for them. They're all looking at Donnie and Candace.
Yeah, there's something really bad going on down there.
And as far as the family cheating, that'll probably not be resolved. That's been going on from day one. That's, you know, there's always been a big split there.
So we hear Dawn a lot at the beginning talk about they've always fought over this property, that there was a property fight. So we already know that this family isn't, I'm just going to leave it like that for now, that this family isn't close. So there's already, hi Christine, there's already some sort of turmoil going on in this family prior to Summer going missing. There's a fight. They're fighting over property. We know Dad's sick at this time. They're reporting he has Alzheimer's. And Dawn goes to Utah, takes the boy. We hear Dawn say they had Josie enrolled in school. Now, I'm not denying that. But, the oldest boy, sorry. That he had the oldest boy enrolled in school in Utah. But we also hear other family members. It was on Doug. If I find the clip one day, I'll post it. But it was on Doug's that the oldest boy was always in the trailer and not allowed to leave the trailer. So I was always curious, like, why did he have to hide the oldest boy? So last night when I was talking to Jody, I was sort of like beating around the bush on that because I thought like I could continue on it, you know? To me, it seemed like Dawn took this boy to Utah and had to hide him. He got in trouble for talking to his own family. So was that because they were fighting? Like, what reason would you give? There was a day they said Josie went into the trailer, or the oldest boy, damn it, went into the trailer and got in trouble for going into the trailer. Does anybody remember that? I'm going to look for all these clips eventually. Guys, you know, I'm not very consistent. Thank you, Hattie. So I just always thought that was an interesting factor. Like, the oldest boy is taken to another state, no other children. He's gone for 6 months. He had to come back because there was a fight, even though Candace always had riffraff in and out of her house. Always. It's a known fact, you know? And honestly, that's a danger to your children. Could you imagine just letting anybody, I don't know. My opinion. Okay. You guys get the point. Let's listen some more.
I just wish that would just be kept privately. It has nothing to do with Summer.
Me too. And it's unfortunate you have other channels.
Yeah.
Other big channels that are making a big production of that specific part. I am not in agreement with that. I actually have been in private contact with one of the channels and telling them I think it's wrong, but they just don't agree. And that's too bad. And that's why we wanted to have a safe place, because we knew, like, Don's talking. I mean, he's even being so open to let an ex-cop in his house and all of that. And we're like, well, if he's going to talk, let's give him a safe place to talk where it's not going to get twisted around on him.
So this has nothing to do with my subject, but Did Dawn give Chris permission to go into his home? Because I don't think that's the case. I think he had permission to meet with Candace at the horse pond. And in my opinion, Candace looked stunned when Chris asked if he could go up to the house. And I feel like she didn't know what to do in that moment. So she said yes. And that's how Chris got to the house. If you remember correctly, didn't Chris say she stopped somewhere and was on the phone for a while? She probably called and told Dawn that he was going to the house. Do I think he hid in the shed? No. I think Dawn was at work. I mean, Dawn went to work day 2 after Summer went missing. For some reason, Dawn wouldn't miss a day of work back then. Okay.
Yeah, because God
really
knows they love to twist everything.
Yes, they do. I can't believe it. It's the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's sickening. And they've actually, like, they come after us just for doing that. Like,
I know,
they're spreading a rumor that I'm a bad guy, done some...
Yeah, everybody on my...
Sorry, but...
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Dawn, I wanted to ask you, have you guys been offered any type of like therapy or any kind of help or anything like that?
Well, yeah.
So, wow, I'm going to have to look for that recording. I got to see if I still have that in my Dropbox. I remember this part of the video because I had made a phone call to Pruitt, okay? And I posted it. It was on my old channel, and I asked Pruitt, I don't know if any of you remember that, but I asked Pruitt, did they offer Dawn help? And when I meant help, I described the help. It was therapy, advocates, like anything in the means that would help them in the way Cher's talking about right now. I can't, 2 years, you know, guys. I'll remember as we go, but I'm going to look and see if I still have that recording because Dawn was offered lots and lots of help. And it was proven out of the cop's mouth. I will show that video if I can find it.
I'm probably not supposed to talk about that. Of course, I don't want therapy. I don't want therapy, but I'm willing to do whatever that they want. Whatever, you know, I'm willing to do whatever. You know, it's fine.
Yeah, okay. Do you...
That's what it was. It was, Dawn was on here saying he was willing to do whatever they wanted. That was fine, but he wasn't utilizing them services. Do any of you remember that video? Please tell me at least one of you remember that. But he did definitely deny them services, and that's what was confirmed to me through Pruitt. I'm pretty sure it was Pruitt. I'm going to find that damn call. I got to have it in my Dropbox. Okay, hold on.
I think that is there any questions that you've heard that we haven't gone over, Dawn? Is there anything you really want to say that we've kind of missed or that people haven't asked you that you feel is missing?
No, not at this time. I don't. I just hope, you know, that these people attacking our families on both sides of the continent would, and everybody else would just please stop all this. And, you know, the FBI, anything that the public thinks of, or if they think I'm not looking for Summer or whatever, why aren't you out looking for Summer or whatever? Well, anything that I can think of, FBI or TVI has been there 3 times at least. You know, they've searched, you know, I don't know, they've searched 500 square miles, helicopter for a whole week straight. They fly airplanes at night with infrared, looking for any signatures whatsoever. You know, we're all stumped. We don't know where or how she disappeared, and I don't want to elaborate too much and get in trouble. with the gag order. But you know, we've trying everything. We're trying to get Equisurge, Dave Rader to come back, and right now with these psychics and everything going on and all this hate going on the internet, you know, they don't.
So we've learned Dawn was right about this, right? So that one lady, I can't think of her name right now. She did a interview on Dave Radar, and not on Dave Radar on Duty Run. And she confirmed that this was the case. The psychics messed that up, and there was a discrepancy between her and the police. And that's why they wouldn't allow her to come back for a little while. She described how the lady at the store asked her if she was real or fake. So, I mean, Dawn's telling the truth here.
They don't want to let anybody in at this time, you know. And I don't know what to do except for to plead to the public, you know, please help us, you know, somehow. And that's, you know, I thought Facebook, you know, would be the best option to try to help.
Jovi, oh my goodness, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I need to come up with, I like how Jays for Justice does it. She has a little thank you thing she has come up. Aw.
Find my daughter, and I accepted all friend requests that I got, like 2,500. And it's probably the biggest mistake I ever made, to tore our family completely apart. But and the things that people say and stuff like that, it puts you down, and it really affects you badly. You know, it makes you feel like you're useless. There's no hope, and this and that. And when some of these rumors first started out, I've had women calling me, screaming at me, you know, did you do this? Did you do this? And I'm like, do what? You know, I did. That's before I was aware of the allegations, you know, with my nieces and everything. And I'm not even so sure that they're the ones who.
Hattie, I think it would be interesting to talk to Juanita today, since so much has come out and she's disappeared for a long time. Like, not to fight with her or take her side. As you guys see, I'm very, very unbiased. I don't try to take a side. I'm looking at this from every angle. You know, I'm speculating from every angle I can think of to try to help figure out what could have happened to Summer. I'm not going to solve this case, but I think it keeps her name out there. So, yeah, I'd be really, really interested in hearing what Juanita had to say today. Okay.
Started this. I don't know, you know, but I know that they're scared to say anything. I think, you know, yeah, they should stand up and tell the truth, but I almost don't blame them, you know, because I know they have been attacked and by tons of people. They've shut down their Facebook, and I'm not mad. I should be, but I'm just. I mean, I guess I don't know. What can you do?
Well, I think after going through that for a couple of months, a person would just kind of be throwing their hands up at it, because I mean, what can you do? If you completely ghost off social media, they'll say, "Oh, because we were onto something." And if you keep fighting, it's like, well, why is he talking? Like, there's just no way to win. And I'm so sorry that this is happening to you, to Candace, to your family. It literally keeps us both up at night. Mm-hmm. It's sickening.
Yeah, it is. So I really want to thank you guys for helping the way you have, and the public that does support us. There's a lot of people that do support us, and there's a lot of people that do believe in us. And you know, and I think if you sit down and you really look at all the evidence and everything, you know, a lot of people do believe us, but there's that evil entity, you know, they're just in it for the show. They're in it for the money. I'd like to know how much, you know, he makes for show. I mean, we've made some, we've thought about it, but we don't know. But it's got to be tremendous just to keep all these lives going. He's making, huge money.
I can show you how to look later.
Okay. But yeah, he's got to be making tons of money destroying people's lives. It's just not right.
Don, that actually it reminds me now, because that's a lot of comments that I'm getting. Does Don know you make a few dollars on YouTube? Does he know like that you've gotten subscribers from having him on your channel? And I tell them, yes, you do, and I let them know that you actually wished my channel well. Do you want to? I mean, do you want? I mean, you do know that, right?
So Candace did a lot of TikTok shit, right? She also followed Evelyn Boswell's case. I find it very hard to believe that she didn't know and Dawn didn't know that YouTube wasn't nothing that somebody made money on. Now, Cher, in my opinion, went overboard in the money making department. Do I think she could have done that a whole different way? Yes. She could have waited a year or two. It's teeth, it's a cosmetic surgery, right? So she could have waited a year or two after Summer's case and been working on something else and took it in as a crowd fund as people she had become friends with. Now, at the beginning of this video, when I first started my live before I played the Ziggy stuff, I had, I'm going to bring it up. She had mentioned about her and Candace's relationship. Okay. If I remember correctly, she was very pushy with Candace, and she had a lot of people feeling bad for Candace. My opinion is I felt that way as well. However, I also felt Cher pulled information out of Dawn. But I also felt Dawn knew how to play games with Cher. Like she used to shut him up. She wouldn't let him answer certain things at certain periods. And it was a lot like what she did in Quentin's case. Okay. Now I get it. Every creator is out there to do their own thing and they have their own approach at it. But of course, she was here for money. So I'm a little taken back by Dawn's, he's talking about Chris McDonough. Cher says, I make a little bit of money. And Dawn acts like he doesn't know that. But I find that, what do you think about that? Do you think that's hard to believe? Or do you think he really didn't? I'm curious about your opinion. Or do you think he really didn't know Cher was making money, or he didn't care? Like, I don't know. Just watch his reaction.
And I've kind of told you, I mean, I make a little bit of money, but not a lot.
Well, yeah, we all got to make a living somehow. And I wish I could do what y'all are doing or something, that would be awesome. So that's great. But at least.
Okay. Maybe I remembered that wrong. Hold on. I really don't know how to use this damn thing. Okay. So maybe I was a little bit wrong. I swear there was another one where she asked him and he acted like he didn't know. I think I'm remembering another live. Okay. Anyways, even that reaction though, what do you think in that reaction? Well, I'm curious what you think of this. He's putting Chris McDonough down, but here's Cher, and she has what, 10,000 subscribers? I feel like Summer's case put a damper on YouTube creators where if you make money, it's a bad thing. But what people don't understand is you put time into what you do. And if you want your channel to be good, you have to put money into it, right? So like you pay for things to keep your channel going. I mean, that is, unless you could see Cher and Mark have done their effort to make a good podcast. Mark got his headphones, the mic, sort of like Josh, you know what I mean? But then you have people like, there are other creators. I'm not going to say names. There are other creators that just talk every day. They don't really make videos. And when they come up with a video, they'll say, oh, this one shared this and I want to show it to you. And they use other people's content. Now, those creators I have a problem with. I think Cash Apps, and the only reason I'm touching on this is one, because it's on this video, and two, because Jody and I talked a little bit about it last night. But you know, the ones that put their time and energy into it and they want to make it like, I really don't like the Cash Apps, the PayPals, the Venmos, the Amazon lists. Like, for me, that's too much. It's not earning, it's asking, it's begging. And I feel Cher did that, and she did it at the wrong time. And yeah, I feel she used Summer's case to make a whole lot of money. That surgery is not cheap. Just saying. Probably shouldn't even have shared my thoughts.
You guys are sticking to what's right, so you have to be commended for that. You know, and that's extremely important. And it's like you said, you could go out there and make a Jerry Springer show out of everything and make big dollars if you wanted to, but you choose to do the right thing. And so I want to thank you for that. And because it's really helped me straighten out a lot of this stuff, and maybe some other people will come forward. I hope and pray, you know, and I hope and pray, you know, Summer, you know, we can concentrate on her instead of trying to concentrate on defending ourselves constantly. You know, it's bad, you know, go through all this horrific stuff day after day, and then in the end of the day, finally being able to think about Summer and pray and, you know, beg God to please bring her back home somehow. Because it's definitely going to take a miracle. The police, the FBI, all the 106 different agencies I've heard were here, and they can't find her. So only God knows where she's at, and only God can help us. So I just, please keep praying for all you guys that support us and believe in us. Just please keep praying, you know, for Summer. She's a beautiful little girl, and we surely miss her very much.
Yeah, that's one thing I want to stress to everyone. Regardless of what you think happened, who did what, please pray for Summer. The more we pray, just the better the chances. It can't hurt. So take a few minutes and throw up a couple prayers for Summer, please.
Mm-hmm. Instead of the hate comments, just hashtag bring Summer home.
Yeah.
I agree with that. You guys can share a Purple Heart if you want.
Don, that brings me to a question that you actually sent me a link to him. He's another big supporter, one of our newer friends in helping kind of rally behind you guys. Benny, Blood Money Ben. He was wondering what, like.
So I forgot about this. This was the meeting of Dawn and Benny. This should be interesting. I'm glad we're watching this. Holy shit. Thank you guys for the hearts, prayers for Summer.
How you're feeling now? What do you think the next 6 months look like? With if Summer's still missing, what do the next 6 months look like? You already said that you're worried about losing your job. Candace, I mean, we've seen her on video chats with you guys and seen how just she's a wreck. She's an emotional wreck, and then she's got all these people.
So before we listen to him answer this, the reality of the next 6 months was he was drunk driving. He got pulled over. He went to jail, right? So he was on Doug's. He was taking pictures of Candace or videos of Candace in bad states. He was reading letters to Summer while on a toilet, having other people read it. Other people were writing letters for him. He had the Hope Foundation thing in his life. That's what was going on in the 6 months. That's the reality. So let's listen what his hope was for the next 6 months.
You should hate Cher for this, blah blah blah, and you should do this. So she's really got a lot on her. So I understand, but what do you think the next 6 months looks like going from?
Yeah, we don't know for sure. You know, if it was up to Mr. McDonough and his crew that are doing all this attacking, they don't care about the evidence. They'd lock it if he could. I believe he'd put the cuffs on me and lock me up for the rest of my life, no problem. He ain't got a problem with locking up innocent people.
So his prediction came true, only it didn't come in the way of Chris McDonough. He did get locked up. All right. Ding, ding, ding. Dawn, guess what? You're psychic. Haha.
He's, you know, his record shows that. You know, I don't want to attack, but I mean, the truth's there. People know that. I don't have to say no more. I don't know what the next 6 months is going to. I hope it involves Summer coming home. You know, because it is. You know, people say it's just that it can't happen, that she can't just disappear. Well, there's 250 kids, like you mentioned the other day, missing from the Eastern Tennessee area since 2020. I mean, where did they go? If the kids can't just disappear, then where are they?
Has anybody ever proven them statistics? That's pretty high. If that's true, that's sad. I'm going to look into those statistics.
The other 250, I don't know. But like, you know, I was telling someone earlier today, I can go down that dog trail. If I was in a hurry, I bet you I could make it down there in less than 20, 25 seconds at the most. I could be down that dog trail to the road and gone. No problem. I don't know. It's just so hard to go day by day without Summer. Always on my mind. And, but yeah, these hate groups, you know, I'm sure, like I mentioned, the crew, they're trying to infiltrate with my wife. They're telling her things and, you know, sending her things up. And they're trying to turn her again. They're trying to, you know, still play this game, but put us against each other in every way, and it's not right. So I don't know. Like you said, I mean, she is really tore up, and she don't know which way to turn. She don't know who to trust anymore. And it's sad. It's real sad. They're tearing her up. She's at a
Okay, so at this point, Prayer Garden, I believe, would have already been on Ziggy. And Jenna, the whole Jenna situation probably happened about this time. So, yeah, I can see Candace being really upset at this time.
breaking point. She's at a point that it's not good. I've never seen her like this. It's not good at all. People are preying on her. It's not right. I wish they'd stop. But all you good friends out there that do know her or whatever, please support her.
However, that goes back to my next question. At this point, they had already been on YouTube for a few months and they knew how it operated. And Dawn continued to go on YouTube and Candace was begging him to stop. Am I correct? Am I remembering this correctly?
She is tore up. But people are pretending to be her friend and all this and that, and still playing this evil game. You know, I don't know what else to say. You know, just it's pretty bad. It's not right what y'all are doing.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, at this point, he had already hired the PIs and Tim Mullen, which means he had a media manager. So there's no way he didn't know how YouTube worked, because Tim is a media manager, right? He should have warned Dawn. And if I'm correct, Tim has said on multiple occasions that he had warned Dawn to stay off of YouTube. So why did that friendship continue? And why did Tim continue to be the media manager if Dawn was difficult? They had people conducting, like telling Dawn sit down when he's on live and he'd be drunk. There was the whole fight on the Give Hope thing, or one of them channels, where there was something leaked. Oh my God, I gotta go. I just had a flood of memories. Okay.
Agree. And yeah, there's no way for us to prove to Candace, or to you for that matter, that we're above board and we're not going to somehow use everything to turn on you, other than, you can see what we have done.
Yeah.
But
that's what I always said.
Either way, I mean, we feel for you, Candace, and we're hoping for the best in all this, and we just want you all to have peace. And we don't want to be causing any pain or anything like that. If we are inadvertently, I am so sorry. That's not our intention at all.
Do you believe Mark about that? Do you believe he wasn't there to cause pain? I mean, because looking at this, if Dawn and Candace are innocent, like I said, I look at it from all angles. I look at it as if he's guilty and he's innocent, right? So if you look at this, if Dawn is innocent, do you feel today the way, in my opinion, do you have the same opinion as me? Is your opinion different, that Cher was tearing Candace and Dawn apart by continuously calling him and harassing them? Because that's what I seen. Like, Cher, I'm sorry. I'm not getting on here. You may copyright strike me after this. But I think it's important, like, where you were, like, it seemed as if you were really intertangled in a family situation where it was still not new but fresh, and they were still looking for their child, and you were causing this rift between these two people. And the fight you and Dawn had the other day, now I'm not, you heard my opinion last night on Dawn and his N-word and the ignorance that he has, which is why I look at this as if he's still guilty in one aspect. Because he has no heart. Like, he doesn't care who he offends. He doesn't care if there are people out there truly trying to help find his child. He wants to call them the N-word. That's just, it's gross.
All right, we appreciate you guys. Like I'm saying, I wish we could focus on finding Summer, but we haven't been able to since all this craziness, tearing our family apart. So I wish we could focus on looking for Summer. I don't know. It's been over 2 months. She could be anywhere by now. But I just wanted to thank y'all, and I should probably head back towards the house.
Can I say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, what would you like to say before we end this here, Sonia?
I wish people would stop all these rumors too, so that they could focus on Summer, not having to defend themselves to the world. Mm-hmm. I really don't even understand why people aren't looking at other options, because they seem perfectly clear to me that she definitely could have been abducted. I wanted to say something about the dog.
All right, Sonia, another question. Do you feel that way today? The reason I ask is because you're telling people that they weren't looking at other options when all they were doing was looking at other options. Everybody was accusing Jody Sue at that time. That's when the Jody Sue stuff started. Fred Hill's name started to ring a bell back then. There's definitely proof that there were way many more people being looked at on the YouTube streets other than Dawn and Candace. The problem was Dawn was getting on there drunk and making a mockery out of his missing child, in my opinion.
People are always talking about the dogs out there. When my mom lived out there, I remember her telling me that dogs would come on her property after running for days, chasing coons or whatever they do, and they would just be, the dogs who just wore out. They just lay there and rest for a day. She'd feed them and water them, and they'd rest, and they would go. And so I know that dogs run out there for hours, and these dogs are all strays. So something goes running in the woods, it just makes perfect sense to me that dogs aren't there all the time.
There's no way all of them dogs were strays. They live on a country road. I mean, I'm sure there's tons and tons of stray animals, but what leads them directly to Dawn and Candace's home when there's so many other houses they could go to? Like, where do they start from? What happened was one or two strays went up on that hill and they started having puppies.
Something happened, they weren't there. I get that they weren't there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lots of people don't understand that because they think they have a dog, but the dog it's a house dog. It's in their house a lot of the time.
Some dogs don't leave. So
it's not going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But outside dogs, they'll wander all over the place.
Yeah,
that is
stray dogs
legit.
In the country, they hang where they want to.
Yep.
And they wouldn't be hard to make friends with. Somebody, they said they saw somebody on their property before, hanging out on their property.
The real Gigi, that's what I was talking about a little bit before. There was a lot of confusion and a lot of people that were not Equisearch. Like, the psychics were coming in and searching. Remember, they went to the raceway and all that other stuff. And according to Jody Sue and Dawn and Candace, they were like forcing their way. According to Dawn, there was a gunfight. Jody Sue has said, I probably should have asked her more about that last night, but she had said some things about the psychics down there, and there was some sort of fight. Something happened, which is why I'd be really curious to know what Juanita thinks today after all of this has been said, because all of that, it's been said, but a lot of things at the beginning of this case didn't make sense to us as viewers, at least to me. There were so many aspects, so many YouTube creators going in, so many different channels covering different areas, doing different things like the protesters, and there was just so much going on that I think I missed the whole psychic thing. Even though I was told about it, I think it flew over the cuckoo's nest. So, I mean, I've heard it, but I've been paying more attention to it in the last few months. I would like to talk to Juanita. Juanita, if you ever feel like talking, I invite you to my channel.
Feed the dogs a couple times. They're not going to bark. It doesn't make sense that nobody gets the dogs.
Sonia, people are going to wonder, I remember because I have a very bad memory, but people are going to wonder your exact relation to Dawn.
I'm his biological sister.
And a full-blooded sister, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
The only one that's really stayed in touch with them all.
I'm going to be honest with you, the real Gigi. I've never watched her. I don't think I watched much of her. I watched the Raceway search with Ernie. I never really paid a whole lot of attention to Ernie's aspect of this. The only time I really, really started paying attention to Ernie was when he was sick. Like when he was walking in the street and jumping in people's cars, and I've heard some things since then. Like, I'm more educated on Ernie today, but I don't know the whole story. And it's something I plan on maybe getting to in the showing of the videos one day. I don't know. I have so many clips. It's an idea. Maybe one of these lives coming up, we can go through and see what our thoughts are. I actually would like to watch some clips of Ernie and Candace together.
These years, she's got another biological sister who's she can't, she's sometimes I have contact with her, sometimes I don't. But my stepsisters, they have not had any contact with them for 20 plus years.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we really appreciate you calling in, Sonia. I know that.
So my question is, and I don't really mean to bring the sisters up in this, but there had to have been a fight other than what Chris McDonough brought out about Dawn. Because what is the reason, the purpose that you don't speak to them for 20 years? And we hear, and I'm going to look for those clips too. A lot of times when Dawn was on Cher's channel, Dawn would say things like, oh, we've been fighting over the house. We've been fighting over property. We've been fighting over this. My question is, Dawn, why are you even fighting over it? You haven't lived there in 20, 30 years. You've been all over the country and you have property in Tennessee. So is that really what you guys were fighting over? Like, what was that fight that caused you not to talk to your sisters for 20 years? Because as things keep coming out, it's, this one's husband did this and this one's that did that and this one's this did that. It seems to be there's a lot of family skeletons that involve Sonia. I mean, not really that it's any of our business, but I'm a speculation channel and, looking from an outsider, that seems to be an issue, like a lead up, like you're in 2020 or I don't know. I'm just confused by a lot of what Sonia said 2 years ago.
You didn't really want to get involved, but I know that also it's been weighing on you because you can't stand watching what Dawn and Candace are going through.
I hate
and
it.
so I really appreciate you for calling in and being willing to say a little something for people to hear and see another side. So thank you.
You're welcome. No problem. Thank you guys for having a place where he could say something without everything being.
I don't know if it was BS because listen, I've had a conversation with Jeannie. I like Jeannie, which is why I'm trying really hard not to talk much about that tonight. Jeannie's a sweetie when you talk to her in person. I felt she was being genuine to me, so I'm not, I believe that there's truth in some of the things Dawn did, but I feel like there was other reasons. I mean, Dawn has admitted it himself that these things had taken place, right? So we can't deny that that's happened, that stuff in the past has happened. But there's some sort of like Dawn takes the oldest boy and disappears for 6 months, but they still consider themselves married, but they're having marital issues. He comes back. There's a fight. Jose's there. He claims it to be over Jose. I'm going to be honest with you. Dawn reminds me a lot, his drinking and his mentality when he's drinking, of a stepdad I once had. Okay. So he pops off when he's drinking. He gets violent. He was there for a few days with Jose prior to the fight happening. Was he running at the mouth? And I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what he even said. Jose was running at the mouth, and that's why we got into a fight. So I don't necessarily believe that he came running back from Utah with kicking Jose out of mind, because Jose was still there for a couple of days. Dawn came back, I believe, on like the 8th of October, and Jose was there till like the 20th. Right? I'd have to look at the dates to confirm them, but that's a roundabout thing. Dawn lived in the house with this man for 2 weeks without Allie there, because Allie had already been gone. Her and Candace had their fight in September when Allie accused Candace of being with Jose, right? So Allie had already been gone a month, so he can't use the excuse, oh, I let him stay there because Allie was there with him. No, his excuse is all these people in New York dumped him off. And you were just cool with that? Like, yeah, dude, here, come live in my home. For 2 weeks prior to going to jail over a fight with him. Just saying, it's something to think about.
Twisted.
Absolutely, it's the least that we
it's
can
at least
do.
like we can't really. I would love to come down there and I'd walk in the woods for as much as I could, but we can't get down there, so we'll do what we can from up here, I guess.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Don,
it.
I just want to thank you again because, as you said, so many people have tricked you, manipulated, and I just want to thank you again. And I'm sorry that you guys are under attack just because of us, and that's not what you need. But I do really, I just want to thank you and Candace. Thank Candace for the time that you take away to do this and answer questions, and for trusting us not to be like other channels that have been out there and what they're doing. So thanks, Don. We do appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks to you all, because I know you guys have been taking a lot of heat, and it's like everybody I know, people attack everybody I know all that they can, and we know it's part of the crew.
That's what I mean. Remember how he defended Cher back then? She was tearing them apart. Like, it was bad. Him and Candace's situation was really bad back then when it came to Cher. The fighting, the hitting, it was bad.
That we was talking about earlier, but just thank y'all, and I just would like to say, love and prayers to everybody, and I'm sure Summer, she would say the same thing, and she was always breaking up arguments and stuff, with me and Candace was having a little argument, whatever. She would always say, stop, and be nice and be good.
Now, see, that statement by Dawn bothered me. Especially after the 911 call came out that happened way prior to Summer going missing, where Dawn's in the background and Candace is saying he's hurting my baby. Yeah.
We love her and we miss her with all our hearts and everything we got. We love her. We just hope and pray that she's safe. And but yeah, love and prayers to everybody, and thanks y'all very much. Okay.
You too. Thank you. Get back home to your wife.
Thanks. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, Don.
Good night, Sonia. Thank you for calling in. That was really awesome, and they're still going to drag Don or whatever, but
They just won't stop.
It's good to see the other side, but I'm sorry. People can't see emotion, and that's BS.
Yeah. Well, it'd be nice to get some reference,
I know he doesn't show a lot of emotion, but I've seen it when I call him. I know what they're going through. I hate it for him. I can't even imagine how it must be. But I wouldn't show my
and we have no
emotion to the
baseline
world either. Yeah.
But we don't know what he was like before Summer went missing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going by what we see now. And he's not freaking out, crying, screaming, wailing, but
he's broken.
Yeah, he looks broken to me.
You look sad now just from seeing and watching him. I could see.
Now, here's the thing. This is why I think Dawn's good at putting on an act. I agree. This was back then with my mind, not clear thinking now, knowing all the things I know. There were many, many moments I felt with Dawn where he was truly innocent because he came off as though he was. And I still see them moments from him. But then it's like when he drinks, a light switch clicks on and he gets angry. For instance, the last interview he did with Cher, the first night, he was all about, this is great. We're going to get this out. We're going to talk. And then the next night, he was more like, is this almost over? Like, I don't want to do this no more. And you could tell the slur in his voice. He was drinking. So, number one, it's very clear. Hey, Karen, we talked about you a little last night. I was supposed to ask you something. I have to remember what it was. But, anyways, you could tell when he was drinking, and you can still to this day tell when he's drinking and when he's not. His voice slurs, his attitude changes. He's a good guy when he's sober. He's a bad guy when he's drunk. I've seen him a bad guy use the N-word and still felt sorry for him. For instance, the night he was in the hotel room, to me it seemed as though he was really pouring his heart out on that live for a moment, but then there's a switch. I don't know. Do you guys think, what do you think of that? Because I feel that's a really big, like, it shows you what this relationship was like between him and Candace, even before Cher. There was a lot of mistrust, a lot of light switch moments. The night he hit her while they were on Molly Go Lightly. So, I mean, like, anger is a thing with Dawn, in my opinion. Untreated anger coupled with drug usage and drinking. That's a dangerous combination.
Your tone kind of
It
like
bothers me to see another man hurting. Like, I see it.
and
I don't
trying
know
to
why
be
other people
strong
don't.
for his wife and everything, and he, yeah.
It's just so
I don't
messed
even
up.
know how he's handling it.
I don't know either.
I'm afraid for him. I'm afraid for what, because I don't know how much more he can take.
Well, I think it'll lighten up soon.
Yeah.
People are riding this hate wave,
so.
but once, like, it will die off. It's going to have to take its course.
What do you think of that statement now, Mr. Scheer? I'm only asking because we're 2 years in and the fighting's still going on, and the bullying and the channel people not getting along, and that was a very untrue statement. Sorry things didn't change. I thought things would have changed 2 years later too. They have not. It's sad.
Unfortunately, people are just horrible. They're mean and vicious, and they love to cause pain.
I know. I kept thinking it would die off. I kept thinking if he would just be quiet, people would run out of things to talk about. And I didn't want to say anything, thinking it would just it's just going to add fuel to the fire. But the fire doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't for a while, but it'll stop eventually. It's just going to take some time.
I hope so.
Well, Sonia, thanks again for calling in. This will go up. I'll text you with the link when it goes up, either tomorrow or Sunday.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for all you do. I'm sorry you didn't get so much help.
We get it anyway. It's okay.
I'll go through that if it helps get Summer home.
Yep.
I got no problem with
that. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, thoughts? And yeah, you definitely could, Ashley. Some people, they do response to pain as anger, but the problem is it's a continuous. If that's the case, then Dawn needs to seek mental help, rehab. It's sad that that's where these parents go, as they turn to alcohol and drugs. Because there are moments and glimmers of times where I'm like, man, they could be innocent, And I don't ever want to say that they're guilty, because I don't know that to be true. And it's because of them little moments I get out of them where there was a time I did watch an Ernie. I mean, I've watched a few Ernie things just when Candace was on, but there was a time that Ernie was like, imagine your daughter's in front of you. Do you guys remember that? And it was heartbreaking to see Candace's reaction to that. I don't know. That's why this case to me is so very confusing. And I try to look at all aspects of the case. It's not that you want to accuse anybody. It's just there's so many possibilities, so many scenarios. Yeah, somebody could have, in my opinion, I disagree with people that say this couldn't have been a stranger abduction because it very well could have been. There were strangers in and out of that area all the time. Drugs being sold. You hear the day that truck wrecked, the guy was at Fred Hill's house all night long working on an ATV. We don't know. How did Dawn know that? Because Fred's Hills, yeah, Fred's house, yeah, they're close, but they're in the country. Like, it's not like a quick drive. Have you ever watched the videos where the people drive along Ben Hill Road? Like, it's a few minutes. It's not like you just walk there unless you're walking through the woods on a shortcut. So how did Dawn know that Fred was down there fixing ATVs all that day and night? That's strange to me. There's so many things in this case that are just so strange. Yeah. That's another thing. And then we hear stories like, really, the day after Summer went missing, there was that guy chasing the 14-year-old boy with the lawnmower. Do you guys remember Hammond or whatever? But apparently these people have been cleared. Or at least we don't know that they've been cleared. That's what I don't understand. Like, it's people like that. Sheriff Lawson can come out and say, yeah, we cleared that person. Instead, it's everybody's still a suspect. He never clarifies who is everybody that is still a suspect. That would mean you haven't cleared anybody, right? So that's where I have confusion with Hawkins County and TBI. I want to have faith in them, but when you think about it, everybody's still suspect. That means you've cleared nobody. You have to clear people in order to find the person that has this little girl or knows what happened to her. I don't know. Do you guys see it that way? Do you think I'm wrong for thinking that? Like, I just feel, in my opinion, they do need to get on there and say, okay, well, we cleared all of the pedos in the area. We cleared, this one and that one. We cleared the Brits. We cleared, like, people that really have no, we hear these, like David Britt told me he wore a wire, right? It's in my videos, which we're going to go over those one day. I keep saying that, but I'm so sick of listening to those. Sullivan and Hawkins County handed out indictments the other day. Did they list the names, Karen? I didn't even look. I didn't know that. Did they list the names? Yeah, she has. But see, here's the thing. I'm not saying I don't believe Mary. I'm saying this was 40, 50 years ago and they were all children. And I'm saying that Dawn has already admitted that these things have happened. Yes, the stories have changed. They've developed, they've evolved, but there was something there. Like, it seems like these children never got along. I'm not here to say whether all of that genie and stuff, that's not why I'm here. Look, I mean, I'm going to comment on it because it's playing, right? But the broader aspect here is the family dynamic between them. I've heard there was rumors going around at the beginning of this, that just days before Summer went missing, that this sister was up on the hill with Candace and Dawn. Is there truth to that? Has that ever been proven? Dorothy, yes, I wonder. Also, I just don't believe all their stories. Too much stuff not fitting. then a cooking channel out of it. The case should have been, well, listen, I'm not against it's anybody can make a YouTube channel, right? Like, oh, Karen, hold on, Dorothy. I'll get back to that. I'm gonna leave you there. But Karen, I remember, where was that? Wrong one. I'll get back to you in a minute. Karen, I remember what it was. Was there any way Jody Sue had a question for you last night? She wanted to know if there was any way you knew Benny Keys prior to Summer going missing. Were you guys friends prior? That was a question she had for you. And I was supposed to write you and I forgot. So you're here. I'll just ask you. Don't know. I just assumed. Oh, okay. And I'll definitely check for the I'll search. I'll search and see. Yeah, Sonia may have been up there. But why right before Summer had gone missing if she's never been up there? Because she even said in this interview that she didn't go there often, but her mother would tell her on the phone. You know? How often did Sonia visit her mother? Because it's also rumored that Clyda Trent was the one that took care of Mrs. Goad, right? And that Dawn and Candace really didn't take care of her. And I believe that. Do you want to know why I believe that? Because at the beginning of this case, they couldn't even name what was wrong with Mrs. Goad. It was MRSA. And they didn't even remember what it was. It was, oh, she had to be taken out of here. Remember? So for you not to even know what the disease is that your mother had tells me that you weren't caring for her. So if that's the case, why wasn't the daughter caring for her? She wasn't close. She isn't there all the time. She lives in Utah. So how often did Dawn see this woman for her to make these claims? That was my issue with this is, you know, she's saying this didn't happen, that didn't happen, but, and I'm talking about family rifts, not between Jeannie and Mary. I'm talking about the property. She had made the accusation about the property. So what I'm saying is, if that's the case, how does she know all of that? Like, how much contact did she have with Dawn? I just, for her to get on here, and family should come up and defend them, right? But to only do it one time, never do it again, never elaborate, and never plead and beg for the safe return of your niece whom you love. Nobody's done that. We've seen the son and daughter on with Dawn. We've seen Mary and Jeannie, and yeah, they say we did it for Summer, this, that, and the other, but it's never been, we love our niece, we want to see our niece, we want to hug our niece, we want to meet our niece, we heard so much about Summer, we did this. Like, why isn't Sonia getting on there and telling us what kind of child Summer was? She's an outside perspective. She could enlighten us and let us know, like, what kind of child this child was if she had contact with her. If she didn't have contact, why is she on? I don't know. I hope you guys are getting my point. Dawn and Candace are day-to-day opportunity. Yeah. Listen, I don't think Dawn and Candace are good people. Okay? I think their criminal records and the loss of children and the way they use their words against people are hurtful. I believe they have a lot to be angry about and a lot to be in pain for, but you don't ask for help in finding your child by insulting people who are trying to help you. And I get why they do it with Cher. The whole Chris McDonough thing, I feel, was exaggerated, in my opinion, on both parts. I feel the sisters never should have been brought into it. That's my opinion, and that's only because that took away from Summer. Now, I'm not saying Dawn assaulting somebody in the past that was underage at his age shouldn't have been brought up, because I think that's important. But I feel by name and as far as trying to press charges all these years later, I feel that a lot of people turned this into not about Summer, but about other things. And they brought it to YouTube and it turned it into a spectacle. So, okay, Karen answered me. No, only after summer, and I don't know anyone on Ben Hill, including Jody. Yeah, she said she doesn't know you recently. Before she told me you were garbage. Now she knows you. She doesn't know you. I don't know. I don't know why she would say that. But they was a couple I know on the road, but they don't live there no more. Okay. Thank you for answering. If Jody watches, she gets her answer. Why was there no family members that could pass to take care of the boys? That is a lot, both sides. Yeah. Like, this is a family that doesn't, in my opinion, okay, from things that I've seen, this is a family that doesn't really have a normal family dynamic. And there's a lot of families in America that are like that, including my own, right? But we see proof of Dawn's mom at this hotel that he talks about. We see the proof that Dawn was in California. We can look at, I looked at, and I never brought out because I couldn't really connect it, but there was bad people in the home at the time that Pam was living in a home. Like, it was weird. Like, his wife, Pam Wells, had a different address than himself. And then the mom had another address being the hotel. Maybe Dawn can get on and explain that one day. Why did he live without Pam in California? He tells us about all of these situations that have happened to him. And a lot of people say that's bullshit. Okay, I get why they say that, but I don't believe that it is, because the addresses and there's legal documents out there that prove these stories to be true. So, Dawn has a past. His whole family has this mysterious past. And that's what makes this so complicated, because there's so many bad things. Like, it's a generational, including Dawn's mother, who was the carpenter and the painter and the drywaller and wrote books. Like, it wasn't in my opinion, she wasn't a normal grandma. You understand what I'm saying? I'd like to know, like, was Sonia in California? I'm just a little curious. I just have a bigger feeling that Dawn was involved in more things throughout his life. I don't know about if when Summer went missing, but it makes things suspicious, in my opinion. All that was important was Summer. If y'all waited those years, yeah, I agree. I'm not saying that it didn't need to be out there, but I'm saying the way it was brought out and the way it was spotlighted bothered me. And I don't think, after talking to Jeannie, I don't know. I don't want to make assumptions. I don't want to make nobody hate me for my own opinions where it comes to that. I try to leave my I ask you guys, like, what are your opinions? Because I want to see, do you think, how many people think differently than me? It's kind of like a social experiment for myself. I want to see what your thoughts are, because my thoughts are unclear. If you get what I'm saying. I don't know if that makes sense. All right, guys. But anyways, I've been on here an hour and almost 55 minutes. So I'm going to jump off. I've enjoyed my last 2 lives. Maybe I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know. I'm supposed to get my niece back tomorrow. I don't know what the situation is. The grandma didn't call me today. I'm hoping that's good news, but I don't know if I'll be on tomorrow or trying to get my scruples together again. But I'm going to get off of here. Thank you guys all for watching and listening. Hope I gave you some food for thought. You can continue to leave comments in the comment section if there's anything you would like me to cover. Like, if there's a clip that you would like to go over, give me the idea. Just provide the link in my comments, and maybe it's something we can go over when I'm live one day. I'm kind of liking going back and looking at these old clips that I haven't watched in a long time. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.